Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
A nation is, and correct me if I'm wrong, it is a group of individuals. A nation is not just some monolithic nation. Like you just say the word nation, like it's the grand, the monolith. No, a nation is a group of individuals. So the individual has to isolate himself from all what he's ingesting in this Western society. The individual has to isolate himself and say, you know what, I'm willing to think on my own. I'm willing to do what's natural for me. I'm willing to think independently of the program.
What percentage of individuals are going to do that?
We have individuals.
No, but what my point is, and this is what my point is. Yes, that's true. Everybody who is supposedly conscious has already done it. So who exactly are we waiting for?
You're not waiting.
We've already done it. We've already done it. We've already disconnected. We already see what the matrix is. We're the people that got pulled through that tube that Neil went through, and now we're sitting there in that ship with our raggedy-ass shirts on. We already been all this stuff we've done. When are we, those people, going to build something?
Because you're still waiting for the Morpheus. So you got to remember, and this is the anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King, who would have been 87 today. You see, one thing we have to not trivialize is leadership. We still, as human beings, galvanize towards a powerful leader. I know that's not gonna. I know that doesn't. We don't like that because it feels totalitarian. And, it feels wrong. But we galvanize towards a person that says, "I'm the voice for the people. I'm the voice for you, and I'm the articulate voice for you, and I speak for you." And we could say, yeah. If he say, let's go on 125th Street tomorrow, we're going to all be there because we all trust in his leadership. The problem is the leadership is bought out, and the leadership is self-serving.
The problem also is that that's an old paradigm that needs to die.
We can't just do it without leadership.
This system does not work off of leadership. This is a system. It's a system.
No, but the system.
If you were to kill Barack Obama and the entire Congress and Senate with a die in an airplane crash, this system would still be going on.
Yeah, because they have other leaders in place.
Right.
Other people
that's what you call a system.
Right. They have other people that they have appointed to say, listen to this guy because he's in the continuum of the leadership role.
That's the very definition of a system.
Right, and
because
we don't have that.
Now, the opposite of that is us. We have dynamic leadership who get a bullet in their head and then the whole movement dies.
Yes.
We don't have a system. And the system that we should have is called a nation. If you have a nation, then you have a government.
Well, it's called a transference of government. It's called a transference of government where the person that's in charge, let's take, for instance, the Nation of Islam, Louis Farrakhan.
Mm-hmm.
He is not appointed the successor of him. He has not publicly said, this man is the man that if I was to die or something was to happen to me, you need to listen to this man because he follows the same ideals I follow and he's in the continuance of the same program that I'm in, and follow him. You have because
he has not said that and because that is not in place, doesn't that just validate my point?
Right, exactly. Because and why wouldn't he do that? Because
it's not a system. It's an individual, a dynamic one.
Let me speak to that, though. Brother, having gone through this, you know what I'm saying? Because my teacher passed in the year 2000 on my birthday and did not appoint a successor. And boy, was there chaos.
Yeah.
Boy, was there chaos.
You can't do that. Why would you do that? Why would you Tell me, what was the motivation behind not appointing a successor?
Well, here's the thing, though. The thing is this: even if you do appoint a successor, who's saying that the people are going to follow them? You know what I'm saying? America is a completely different animal than a black organization having a leader and then, pass down succession. And we being an organization in America, we don't have the same law enforcement, we don't have the same checks and balances and all that other stuff to ensure, like for instance, like how was this said, if Barack Obama was to get shot in his head today, America would still go on. There would be no chaos, to be very honest with you. The vice president would step up. If they shot him in the head, then they would have somebody else, and so on and so forth.
The Secretary
system
of State
would still go. Yeah, the system would still go. In a black organization, it's a completely different animal, because in a black organization, when a leader gets shot or killed or poisoned or whatever, there's no real enforcement there, because everybody can go, do what they feel like doing.
Because he didn't appoint a successor.
Well,
there's a deeper reason why,
he didn't have the continuance of government.
There's a deeper reason why, too, and this is what I called, when you get in the head from 1,000 people, you ain't going to say stop. Oh, no more tongue for me. No, you're going to let people, you're going to sit back, put your arms behind your head, and get laced up. And that's what our problem is. We got this ego thing where we thinking that it's about us when it's really about a system. See, the presidency is a title that the people generally respect. They respect the title of the president.
Right.
Who's the president can shift according to the times. It could be this person, that person. Who gives a shit? It's the title that you have to respect, because that's what the person has to step into, and that's what makes the people follow them. When George Bush was around after 9/11, everybody automatically said, well, he's the president, we got to respect him, and especially in this time because we're under attack.
Right.
Even though they didn't like him. See, this is the thing. That's a system. If you don't have a system in place, you can't even have what you were talking about, Ausar, where, what you said, transference of governance. You can't even have it if you don't have a government.
Right.
You have to have a government in place, and that way you can see that this is not just about this one single individual or this one dynamic leader.
Right.
It's about the system that we create that has to go on, that we support. I said it all the time. It's like when people talk about conspiracies or stuff like that, it's like I look at it like when you're at a job and you got all of these veterans, all these people that's been there 20, 30 years, and then you got the new person that's coming in, and that new person coming in may try to make huge strides in a short period of time. Mm-hmm. Does anybody have to sit in a smoke-filled mirror to determine what's going to happen next?
Oh boy, man, please.
Everybody in that company who's a veteran is going to react and respond in their own way, but the general consensus is going to be the same. You can't come up here with that bullshit when I've been here for 30, 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you know what? One thing about the United States government that's powerful is that they protect the leaders of their ideology. Whether it's like Barack Obama, he has Secret Service around him. We were supposed to have, in our nation, when we build our nation, we have to have Secret Service around our leaders, because we have to protect them, because these guys, they have the hearts and minds of the people, and they have to live in order to continue the program. And we have to live at all costs. And you have to have people around them that's willing to die to make sure that these guys live and continue on.
And that ain't going to happen with an organization.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to have, because those people, those Secret Servicemen know that if anybody pulls out a gun and points it at their president, they're going to jump in front of the bullet.
Exactly.
That's a part of the job description.
Yep.
Now, you can do that because you have a nation, because you have that national pride. This is America. You can't kill the American president. It's all throughout the military, all throughout the government, that strong patriotism toward what? Nation. Mm-hmm. You ain't going to get that. You are not going to get that with what? With a small black business? With some black organization? You're going to inspire the people. You're going to inspire the people. You have to have a nation.
Let's establish that we have this nation. And let's establish that we have appointed the leader of, or the leader, or the spokes. I wouldn't say leader.
Not a leader. We got to expose a government.
Let's say we have the spokesperson that speaks on behalf of the nation. That he's articulate, he's on point, he knows how to use words, he knows how to galvanize the people. We have got to protect that person at all costs. Because when that person dies, when a person like Martin Luther King dies, you can't replace him like that. It takes you 40, 50 years to find another Martin Luther King.
Yep, and the reason why is because you never had a system in place. All you was doing was rallying behind this personality, and personalities can be eliminated. But if you have a government and a system in place, if a powerful personality is eliminated, you can have a national day of mourning and move the fuck on.
Exactly. I agree 100%.
But the only way you're gonna be able to do that is if you got to have people that's not about ego. They got to look at the big picture and say that this is not just about me. Because perfect example is the BAIO.
Mm-hmm.
BAIO could have easily been a Mr. Holipsism thing.
Right.
Easily. I always downplayed myself in the sense that I'm like, listen, this is not nothing new. I'm not coming up with some new technology or some new way of thinking. This is old, actually. This is what we should have been thinking years ago.
Right.
And it's not just about me, because I can get caught in a hotel with a white woman and some cocaine tomorrow. What does that have to do?
Easy.
What does that have to do with the nation and us moving forward? All it means is that Holip fell off. Oh, well, keep it moving.
Right.
In order to do that, you have to have a continuancy in place, like you said already, and that's what I would enjoy on any nation, any new nation that we build, a continuance of government. That's what makes
it's not a nation if it don't have that. To be honest with you, if it don't have that, it's not a nation anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't believe
you're talking about some organization.
Yeah, you're talking about a group, a clique, a club,
a motorcycle
a
club.
gang.
You know what, bro?
What happened?
Louis Farrakhan. Let me say about the Nation of Islam.
What the minister said. I didn't hear what he said.
No, I said I can't believe we discussed this on Independent, and I tried to ask Mac if he can to show up.
The Nation of Islam had the perfect opportunity. The Nation of Islam had the perfect opportunity to implement the plans of Elijah Muhammad on the back of every Muhammad speaks and every final call, on terms of what he wanted to establish in terms of land here in the United States.
Well, I always make a distinction.
He never advocated for that. Farrakhan never advocated for that.
It's not the nation. This is Islam. It's Louis Farrakhan had the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Louis Farrakhan had the opportunity. But this is what I talk about. When there's 1,000 people lacing you up, what's going to make you stop that?
1,000 black tongues.
Yeah, what's going to make you stop that? You tired? I don't want no more orgasms.
1,000. I can see the YouTube clip. 1,000 black tongues.
Everybody lacing you up. You the man. Your dick is the biggest.
Yo, you know what?
Well, that's his fault. Well, that's his fault. That was supposed to be a critique on him in terms of, dude, you're not holding the mantle up.
Actually, it's not his fault.
You're not advocating what it is.
It's not his fault. Because if you put anybody as a human being in that position and they got 1,000 tongues lacing them up, they're subject to doing the same exact thing. So it's the system that you got in place. You can't have a system set up where you got some cult of personality.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a system set up to avoid all of that.
I don't believe every individual. I'm not going to be one to say that every single individual on the planet Earth will fall victim to the same thing.
I'll put it to you this way, Ausar. Are you willing to put your money on that person?
I am. Because
so you saying that there's a dude out there that's going to get laced up by 1,000 tongues?
No, he's not going to accept the lace up.
Y'all doing too much right now.
He's not accepting the lace up. He's not accepting the lace up.
Is going left.
He's not accepting the lace up.
I'm going to save my money on that one.
He's not accepting the lace up in the first place.
Asano, listen. When we deal with, and I agree with you, he did not. He had the opportunity. He did not. He had the opportunity twice. He had the opportunity at the first march, and he had the opportunity at this march, and he did not. And it's my contention that is why we listen. When you say you need a charismatic person, this is how I will agree with you on the percentage. I think we need many charismatic people.
Yeah, I agree.
I do. And that's my position, because my voice, you know what I'm saying, like for whatever it's worth, and I don't want to try to praise myself or whatever, but I know how to do what I do. You know what I'm saying?
I'll praise you.
Thank you very much, bro.
We got Murderers Row in the BAIO, man. You got Murderers Row. It ain't you can pick me. You can pick Minister. You can pick Earl. You can pick Thomas. We got so many brothers that's powerful, man, and skilled in different things. So whatever I don't know, I can go to Minister and say, what do you know about that, or what can you enlighten me on that? It's not just one person, and that's what we have to have, that mentality permeate throughout the entire organization.
Yeah, but what is trivialized a lot of times is the power. Look at Martin Luther King. This man's oratory skills was beyond anybody that we probably, if he was an MC, he would be equivalent to Rakim.
I don't think that's trivialized.
Hold on. You just don't find a guy that's born with that type of intellect, that type of articulation, that type of semantical symmetry overnight. You don't have that. If you're a guy like you, a next person that comes up is not quite you. Right. They don't quite have the same thing that you have to come across to the people in the same way. So when we lose a guy like you, we lost a lot. That's why we have to protect you. That's why we have to say.
No, all right. I agree halfway with what you're saying. I agree halfway with what you're saying. The reason why I disagree partly is because you're talking about a system. Like, if anything, Martin Luther King is a perfect example to confirm my point. We had a guy like that, like him, like Malcolm X. And what happened after they got killed?
So
what are we trying to do? We trying to look for the next person like that? No, that's not the way we supposed to do.
You got to protect that which is most valuable in your community, because they serve a role and they serve a purpose that other people, it would take lifetimes for them to get to the point that these guys are at.
Of course.
Like
I agree with you.
Barack Obama, like they protect George Bush, like they protect Ronald Reagan, like they protect,
I agree with you 100%. But the bottom line is, you can protect the person only but for so much. Some people get that bullet. Mm-hmm. And what are you going to do after they get that bullet? Now, does the whole movement die? And now all of a sudden, now we're looking for another charismatic leader. See, that's a bad system. That's what I'm saying. Now, of course, we got to protect our leaders. That's not even a question. But we also have to have a system in place that we are not so reliant on the cult of personality that everybody gets deflated once this one guy is gone and now nothing gets done. Because that's what happened to all of our movements.
Well, and there's a reason for that. Because the people are weak. You got to understand that. The people need the constant reinforcement and the constant, stroking of the guy that's going to put them on, like the motivational speaker, to do what they're supposed to do. Because the average person he's not built like Martin Luther King. He's not built like Marcus Garvey.
Then what you're going to get is Louis Farrakhan.
Well,
because that's his spiel. I'm going to get the people.
And Louis Farrakhan should have been appointed. He should have been in a circle of elders such as Amos Wilson, John Henry Clark, Joseph Ben Yakinen. He should have been in a circle of elders that he himself had to answer to.
But why wasn't
he? He was on point.
But why wasn't he?
He
had the opportunity to.
Listen,
he had his own nation. He had his own money.
Hold on. Listen.
He got his money from Gaddafi.
He did have that. He got rid of them.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he should have been got rid of. As soon as he got rid of them, he should have been gotten rid of. Because
that's all. I agree with everything Ambassador is saying. What I'm saying is that's a systems problem, not an individual problem.
Exactly. I agree with you.
And if you don't have a system set up, and that system is a nation with your government, with checks and balances, then what you're relying on is this cult of personality where we got to get some charismatic leader that says, what the people want to hear. They go, yeah, 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 and then all you do is put a bullet in his head, and then we got to start all over again. We got to do something different. We got to let people know that this is systematic. It's a systems problem.
Look at Dr. York, as brilliant as he was. He's in Colorado Supermax right now.
Mm-hmm. Perfect example.
Doing 20, he never appointed no leader. He never said, if something was to happen to me, this is the system in place to take my place.
Because it was all about him.
So you got to eliminate him.
He wasn't thinking about no leader. It was about him. All of these cats, it was about, if you make it about you and you are the messenger, you're the prophet, you're the last voice, what do you call it, Minister, the final frontier? You're the final frontier. Then who's coming after the final frontier?
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. I'm the last voice. Anytime somebody tells me I'm the last voice, get rid of them. Get rid of them.
Son. That cult of personality, that charismatic person, you need people to articulate the vision and to be able to do that to the people, but you do not need that, because that's a whole other set of problems there. Because people got egos.
Get rid of them. Get rid of them when they start to talk that I'm the last voice.
Well, that's when the community got to converge on them. What I believe in, just to take it to a governmental level, I don't believe in career politicians. I think career politicians are bad for government. And I think that there's enough examples across the world to show you. Like, I believe in term limits. I don't believe that one person should be in power for 30 freaking years. I don't give a damn if I even agree with the dude. Get your ass off that throne and give somebody else a chance. 4 years are you out of there.
Well,
that comes with the reason why that's prevented is because when you get somebody who rises to power on their personality, they don't want to give up the throne.
Right.
It becomes about them.
That's the Supreme Court. There should be no Supreme Court for life. No, you got a term, and you're going to get your ass out of there. And we're going to get somebody else in there.
Let me just say this. This is a way to prevent all of that. This leader, I believe that there should be someone that can articulate the voice of what the movement is about. I believe in that. But I believe that that's a process. And that process has to come, it's just no different than how the presidency is in the United States. Barack Obama has to go through certain channels. Every person has to go through certain channels, certain checks and balances, certain society, whatever you want to call it. They don't just take some random person and put them in charge of America. You know what I'm saying? They have to go through that process, and it's no different for us. That person has to go through the entire process, and that person has to be elected by the people, not some self-appointed leader.
You got to get rid of the Electoral College. Then you got to get rid of the Electoral College. You got to get rid of the Supreme Court justice, unlimited term limits.
Yeah, all of that bullshit.
That's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. Nobody
and the beautiful part about it is
government
I agree
forever.
With the idea, but for me, and not a but in addition, I think it should be, when we talk about a voice, I think that it should be voices. I think it should be a combination this time of male and female voices. Because I just think that, we're asking for problems. And this is one of the things I wanted to do, but I've been kind of lazy on, is even in the BAIO, because we got some strong female voices in the BAIO. We got Queen of Farmer. We got some strong female voices, and I have not really been aggressive enough in trying to get them to be on our network. I really think that we need a few voices. We need, because here's the thing, though, brother. If we have one person doing that, we're setting ourselves up for big problems. Ausar, brother, listen, I hear what you're saying. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. Having been a person inside two movements that was headed by leaders, I can tell you that what ends up happening is the people begin to polarize. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. What happens is some people support that guy, and then some people, it's just like Mac could bear witness with me on this one. The person that the people love the most is the backup quarterback, not the starting quarterback. It's the backup quarterback, because they always think the backup quarterback could come in and do something better than the guy that's throwing the ball now. So what ends up happening in a movement where there's one voice is the people will say, yo, man, Brother Earl, Brother Earl been talking too much. I think Collar should be the one. Nah, man, Collar been talking too much. I think Warlord should be the one. And this is how division happens. So if we had multiple voices, if you are good enough to attract the people, your voice is magnetic, you're articulate, you attract the people, you can make them feel what we're saying and what we're talking about, stuff like that is proven. And just like you said earlier, the numbers will prove it. We don't have to say, you know what I'm saying, have a eyeball test or anything like that. You can say, look, when you speak, you get these kind of download numbers. When you speak, you get these kind of hits on YouTube, this, that, and the next thing. And that will prove, that will show us, okay, we need to push this person a little bit more out front. These people a little bit more out front, I should say. If we do it like that, I think that would solve the charismatic problem, because those of us that do have that and have worked on our ability to speak and stuff like that, then we can all work together and do it. But if it's just one person, man, brother,
it's got to be a network.
No,
I think we solved the
person.
Rubik's Cube personally, because that idea that we had to take all of us were basically, saying the same message but in a different way, giving different aspects of it. So now we have a network where once you tune in, you got you, me, Carla, Earl, Thomas. Now we're going to have a STEM show. We hitting everybody all at the same. It's a network of us. So if you attack me, you got to deal with all of us. You attack you, you got to deal with all of us. And there's no one person that's dominating the narrative.